no, you can't do that. You can't touch food that other people might come and buy and eat, and then you don't even take it, you don't buy it. Hello everyone, my name is Mutombo and today is the 26th of March 2020. This is actually very impromptu, but I think it is very important. I'm currently in Cape Town, South Africa, and the government mandated lockdown begins today and is going to cover a period of 21 days. So the lockdown is going to span from today 26th March to 16th April, and as of today we have over 700 reported cases of the CV-19. That said, today is actually the last day to stock up on the essential things that one would need for this lockdown period. I had the majority of what I think I would need for this period, but I just needed to get some eggs, flour and bread. So I showered and went to the supermarket, and when I got there, there was a long queue in front of the supermarket. So new people could only be admitted into the supermarket once the people who were there went out. I queued up and the queue was moving along fine. We all kept the recommended 1 meter distance both in front and behind us. And when I actually got to the door of the supermarket about to enter, there was somebody standing there ensuring that each and every person sanitizes their hands before they enter that supermarket. So that got me thinking, with all of these measures, if we keep up like this, there will actually not be any need for lockdown. We would at least be able to scrap by. Businesses will be able to scrap by. Fewer jobs will be lost, and at least there will be some semblance of normalcy. That's what I was thinking. The supermarket was freshly stocked, the produce was fresh, and there was also a limit on the number of items that each person could buy. And the limit wasn't too low in such a way that you could not actually prepare yourself for these 21 days. But at the same time, it was low enough to ensure that everybody was able to get what they needed. Apparently, this wasn't done for the flour, because when I went to look for flour, it was sold out. I actually went to another supermarket after this one and the flour was sold out there too. So I came back home without any flour, but that's beside the point. Back to the first supermarket. I felt hopeful, because honestly, reading all the news about this CV situation is very depressing, and it's just a huge dump on all the other problems that we have been facing. Before the development of this CV situation, one of the biggest weights in my heart was my country, especially the Anglophone region. I'm from the northwest region of Cameroon, and we're not doing okay, especially those who actually live in those regions. They've been suffering from the effects of the Anglophone crisis for almost 4 years now. Businesses have failed, shut down. It has really not been an easy few years, but I just brought that up to just show that people are already going through a lot. So in this particular supermarket, they put the bread on shelves, and each shelf is divided into compartments, and each compartment has a door. So to get bread from there, you open the door and there is a set of prongs just by the side. Is that what they're called? And there is a set of prongs just by the side. So you pick up the prongs and you use the prongs to pick the bread that you need and be on your way. And these are actually just tiny buns, so they cannot be individually packaged. I've actually never seen anywhere, even back in Cameroon, where they package small buns of bread individually. It's not So I get to the bread section, and what do I see? There's this man standing there and he's busy picking up each piece of bread and putting it back. He picks it up, squeezes it, puts it back, and he did that and actually sent his hand in right to the back of the compartment, and I don't know if his mission was to touch each and every piece of bread in that entire compartment, and guess what? He didn't take any of them. I just stood there dumbfounded, and this man looked like he could be a reasonable human being. Next thing I know, he's opening the next compartment and his hands are going in. See, there was no way I could hold myself. I just blurted out. I said, "You can't be touching each and every piece of bread here and not taking any one." He turned and saw me. I said, "No, you can't do that. You can't touch bread, food that other people might come and buy and eat, and then you don't even take it, you don't buy it." Normally, I don't do this. I'm not a confrontational person, and I'm not one to address a stranger face to face. I'm the type of person who would rather go and report to the manager and tell them to control this situation next time. So this man just turned and started explaining that no, he was just trying to see which one is soft and which one is hard. I said, no, that is what the prongs are for. You can use the prongs and even poke it a bit, and he's going to tell you whether or not the bread is soft. Of course, I couldn't buy any of the bread there, even in the ones that were in the compartments that I didn't see him touch. But How do I know? How do I know that he wasn't standing there for 20 minutes before I arrived, touching each and every loaf of bread in that entire section? I couldn't buy any bread, so I just turned and left. I decided to just go buy my eggs and leave. So I went to the egg shelf and I just stood there holding a pack of 6 eggs, and I was just lost in wondering contemplation at what I had just witnessed. I was thinking, oh, whether I should go talk to the manager so they can make announcements and tell people not to touch the bread, or just put some sort of measure in place. And my thoughts were just interrupted by a very harsh voice. Madam, excuse me, madam, do you know that people are waiting to enter here? Do you know that there's a queue outside? I was like, oh no, I'm sorry. It was the manager. I tried to say, oh, I'm sorry. He said, no, you are being unfair. You are being unfair. There are people waiting outside. Unless you leave, other people cannot come in. So I just turned and ran to the queue, and I completely forgot that I actually had something even more important to report to this manager. I got to the queue and I respected my 1 meter distance. I stood at least 1 meter behind the person who was in front of me in the queue. Tell me why the woman who came and stood behind me felt that the best position for her in this era of corona was 1 centimeter behind me, so that I can literally hear her breathing down my neck. Why? I felt this hot air behind me, and I turned and I was literally face to face with this woman. And so I stepped ahead to create some space between me and her, and she also stepped ahead to join me. At this point, I had had enough confrontation for the day. I wasn't ready for another episode, so I just stepped out of the queue. I just stepped out of the queue and waited for my turn to pay, and that's when I entered the queue again to pay and leave the shop. I say all of this to say these are the things that necessitate lockdown. I left that supermarket with a completely different mind frame from the one that I had when I was entering that supermarket. When I was entering that supermarket, I felt that, okay, no, we can survive without lockdown. We can handle ourselves without lockdown. But when leaving, I was like, nah. Left to our own devices, we will spread this thing like wildfire. No, we need to stay home. We really need to be considerate of others and not think that all these measures that have been put in place, all these guidelines, are the government and all these organizations being dramatic. Businesses are suffering and people are losing their livelihood, losing their jobs just to support the fight against this virus. But no, come on, 1 meter distance that they say keep between you and the person in front of you. You cannot keep something that doesn't even affect your life in any way. There's enough space, but you cannot keep 1 meter distance. Why? Common prongs that they put for you to use to pick bread, you don't want to use. At this point, I've come to realize that the only way to contain this thing is actually staying at home, because you can do everything within your power to follow all the guidelines, everything within your power to sanitize your house from top to bottom, clean doorknobs, clean your car, clean this, clean your phone every time that you go out, wear mask, wear gloves. But somebody else's lack of consideration, lack of recognition of the seriousness of this thing will get you sick. When people agree to work from home, when people agree to stay at home and not engage with others, stay at home, practice social distancing, self-isolate, it's not because they like that situation. It's not because they want to stay at home. It's because they understand that the sooner this thing is under control, the sooner we can all go back to some semblance of normal life, whatever that means to you. Because normal life is different in different parts of the world. But that's a whole other can of worms that I don't want to open right now. So I think what I just want all of us to take away from today is that it's not China's problem, it's not Italy's problem, it's not even the government's problem, it is our problem. I think once all of us realize that it is our problem, we're going to have a different attitude towards this. Anyway, I think I'm just extra agitated and extra riled up because I was forced to shower for a second time when I got back. And that was me showering twice within 3 hours. Just because some people cannot keep their distance in a queue, they must stand and breathe down your neck. Stop it. I just want to also say that I'm going to upload this video today, in fact within the next hour. But I do have a few vlogs that I filmed before all the mayhem, and I just don't want you to be confused with the timeline. The next 2 vlogs that I will post on this channel will be from before this video. So they're actually vlogs that I filmed over the past 2.5 weeks and I've just not been able to edit yet. So Stay safe.